Hey guys, welcome back. If you didn't see my last Titanic video, it kind of crashed it, so today we're going to try to rebuild it. So I'm not actually going to try to rebuild the Titanic, but I'm going to try to strip it down and get rid of as much weight as I can and put more motors on it so it has more thrust. Because I don't think it was getting enough speed so that it could take off. So let's give that a shot. So I've attempted multiple times to get this Titanic to fly with no success. So my goal for this plane now is to strip it down so that I can get as much weight off of it as possible. And then I'm going to take two pieces of wood or foam or something like that and connect them together on the two sides. So I'm starting off by removing all the electronics like the motor out of the Titanic, and I am stripping down all of the wings, and I'm going to take and cut off all the bad pieces and replace them with the foam that need to be replaced. As you can see, this rudder here was in pretty bad condition, so I decided that it would be best to just cut it off and put a new piece on there. So for this hinge, I ended up just cutting off all the paper and I just taped it on with regular Scotch tape, and it should hold the hinge fairly decent. So now we need to take apart the rest of the fuselage and remove the front canard. So the front canard was actually in pretty rough condition. So the spar in the front canard was actually pretty bent up, so I wanted to reinforce that with a couple new pieces of foam. So I just glued them in there. So I had to cut apart the front wing and glue the pieces of foam in place. It was a little bit of work, but I think it made it much stronger. So after I had a pretty hard crash on this, I ended up going back and putting a wooden spar in there because I decided that the front canard needs to be perfectly straight for the front elevator to work properly. Since it's so long, if there's any bend in it at all, it makes a bow shape, and the servo, it just isn't strong enough to compensate for that. Oh, hi there. If you guys are liking this video, make sure you hit that like button and also subscribe to my channel so you can follow more of my videos. Isn't he doing great? So I decided on this insulation foam for the spars just because this is what I had, and I thought it looked pretty strong. It has this like fiberglass-ish stuff on the outside of the foam, and I thought that was a pretty good material to use. Would I use this material again in the future or recommend this material? No. Okay, so we got the whole entire thing all built and it looks really cool, I think. So we're going to put the motor in here in the future. So I did a glide test and it was a little bit tail heavy, so I am going to go and add some nose weight and we're going to try it again. So this is looking really good though. I just added some pieces of foam. This is actually foam insulation, and that's what's ridging the front and the back wings together. So the main wing and the canard up here. And then I added like one elevator up here instead of the two. So there's just one big elevator. And these are just going to be the ailerons. And the wings are parallel now. And so this is looking really good. So we're going to add some nose weight and hopefully this works. And if it does, we're going to add a motor and hopefully we can test that out. So these wooden pieces I added here now is because when I did a glide test, I actually broke the foam spars because they're really not that strong. So I just added an 1/8 inch piece of plywood and it worked out pretty good, I think. So now that we got the airframe gliding okay, it's time to build the motor pod that the motor will mount to. So I'm just making a basic box out of foam board, and I'm going to slide an FT power pod in from my FT Scout. So now that we have our motor pod made, we can install it into the airplane. So I'm going to mount it about right here so that I can get the center of gravity like more forward, which is why I'm not mounting it all the way back here. So I want to push it forward a little bit into this space. So I'm soldering an extension wire to go from here. I'm going to run it down this beam and then over to the electronics that are being housed in the back. If you guys are liking this video, go check out my channel where you can find more great projects from RC cars, planes, boats, hovercrafts, and 3D printing. Let's get back to it. So now that we got the servo wire running from the front to the back, we can put a connector on it at the back end and we can plug it all into a receiver. So as I'm wiring up these electronics here, I just want to let you guys know that these wings are actually from the FT Guinea Pig and the FT Duster. If you have any questions about the build, just leave them in the comments below and I'll get back to you. Okay guys, so it looks like we got everything working here, as you can see. So that is really cool. So we got everything working on this plane and I think it's looking pretty cool. So we've got our rear main wing and then we've got our front canard right there. And we've got an elevator on there, our rudder here. We don't really need this rudder here, but I'm gonna leave it in there anyways. And then we have our elevators back here. So I think this is gonna work. Our center of gravity is currently about right here, but I think I'm gonna put some nose weight that's gonna push it a little bit further forward, because when we tested it with our glider, when we glided it, we had our center of gravity about right here. So I'm gonna try to keep it the same for our maiden flight, which is actually gonna be tomorrow because it is currently dark out. So if you guys liking this video, make sure you hit subscribe so that you don't miss out on tomorrow's flight. Hopefully it goes well and I will let you guys know. Thank you guys so much for watching. You guys are awesome. Have a great day. Bye.